The best investment strategy of all time. That's from Napoleon Dynamite. Of all time. You'll be traveling with your travel buddy at all times. This is so easy, my friends. It's amazing to me how many people just can't follow through with it. I just shaved, make sure I got shaving cream in there. Yeah, ooh, face is looking good. Got my new Telekinetic Yeti shirt on. Telekinetic Yeti, all right. Friggin' good band that you should find on YouTube and listen to and download their album and pay them a little bit of money. If you like heavy rock and roll, heavy, which I very much do, actually. Whatever mood is. I haven't listened to bluegrass in a while, but lately I've been listening to old rock, like Mountain, Blue Cheer, I haven't really, a little older Led Zeppelin. Every now and again, my feeling. Chris Knight actually is a good Americana, he's a country artist, but I very much enjoy him. Lucero, that band, the alt Americana, I don't know what you call it. Anyway, so if you want some good workout music, Telekinetic Yeti, man, friggin' kicks ass. All right, so I got this email from Chris Barfield, barfieldfinancial.com, barfieldfinancial.com. This is a TSP, is a thrift savings plan, and this is more than just for TSP. All right, that's the federal government, your 401k through the federal government. But I had a chuckle at this, because I read this and then anyway. Last week, says Chris, I met with a client who has the highest TSP balance I've ever personally seen. $2.6 million. That's right, $2.6 million in his TSP. And of course, Chris immediately said, put it into Bitcoin. You guys know I speak to a lot of TSP millionaires every year. I always ask them a series of questions to see how they did it. Their stories are remarkably similar. No one has ever said I got rich by timing the market. This client gave me permission to share a few things about him. 34 years in FERS, Federal Employee Retirement System, as an 1811. That's law enforcement for those of you who don't know. Okay, so I guess like 11 Bravo is light infantry. 76 Yankee, I'm not sure what 76 Yankee is. 76, I don't know what those, MOS. So 1811 is law enforcement. Like their MOS, a military occupation specialty for federal government. He started at $18,500 in 1988. Let me get my trusty calculator. That's interesting because my first full year as the Army in 1989, I made like $11,000 or something like that. So we weren't making bank, that's for sure. $18,500 in 1988. So if we look at what that would be in today's terms, we'll take our trusty calculator. 18,500 future value or present value. That's 35 years, all right? And then if we just say a 3% inflation, zero payment, that's equivalent to $60,000 this year if my calculator is right. 35 and 3% inflation, 18,500 future value. Oops, 18,500 present value. Now I got 52. So it's between 52 and $60,000. So he was, in terms of today's numbers. So he got out of college, went to work for the federal government, making basically $55,000. All right, so obviously he was a wealthy guy. $55,000. That makes you king crap, obviously. And it's not fair. How did he do it? 100% in C fund. That's the S&P 500 for his entire career, maxed out every year in his TSP. 100% in C fund. So that'd be the equivalent of putting. Maxed out, what's that? I don't know how much. That'd be equivalent of. Maxed out would be right now like $17,500 on a $55,000 salary. I don't know. That's great if you can do it. But that's what he did. He maxed out every year. Direct quote: I never opened or looked at my TSP statements I received in the mail. I put them in a desk drawer until October 2021. Best thing I ever did money wise. Yep. He just put them in a desk drawer. Never opened them. He said his balance would be even higher, but in the very early years, he was putting his money into the G and F fund. That's their bond funds. He said he lost by not contributing to C when he first was hired, but he is by nature ultra-conservative. Once he went into the C fund in the 1990s, he stayed with it until now when he moved everything to G. So now he's in the G fund, which is their basically stable value fund. It's basically their government bond fund. Let's keep going. In 2001, when the small cap fund and the international fund were introduced, I did not indulge. Fantastic lesson to be learned here, says Barfield. Sometimes the best financial decision is not chasing every opportunity. Sometimes, almost every time. This guy's another example of the over 1 million in less than 5 transfers in a career. He didn't shift money. Some of you had made more transfers in 3 months than this multi-millionaire has made over 34 years, 100%. Think this is unusual? What's probably most unusual is the 34 years in law enforcement. But if you have $1 million around 20 years on the job, you're more likely to have about 2.6 million in 34 years, assuming you kept working. Remember, time is very powerful, particularly the snowball effect at the end. When he first started, he could only contribute 10% of his salary to the TSP, so he was doing just under $2,000 a year when he first started. So yeah, so when he's first starting, he only could do 10%. So I guess that's what he says maxed out. I'm not sure if he meant maxed out by the federal government maxed out or just by what he could. I don't know, but he's doing 10%. Now he makes over $2,000 in interest in literally 6 days of the G Fund. His G Fund has returned $75,000 of interest in the last year alone, the equivalent of 35 years of his first contribution rate. The equivalent of over 35 years of his first year. I don't get it. Anyway, I'm not sure what he's saying there. But his G Fund is getting $75,000 in interest, guaranteed. I would not normally recommend someone go 100% of the G Fund, but personal finance is very important. This individual has it made. He's ultra-conservative, and he's well off financially in other areas and doesn't need to take any risk. And let's face it, his G Fund is putting off nearly $80,000 of interest on this $2.6 million. For those of you who think your TSP can't grow in retirement because you're not contributing to it, remember, at the higher balances, the returns are moving in the account way more than contributions are. So if he's getting $2.6 million, 80 divided by... what would it be? $80,000. So 80 divided by 2. Yeah, he's averaging 3.8% a year on a G Fund. I mean, that's not averaging. That's what his current yields are, about 3.8 to 4%. Anyway, the irony of this is literally when I read that, the next day I had a meeting with a guy, got $4 million. And I was like, man, you got it made, dude. You know what I'm saying? He and his wife. Now, they have no kids, I grant you, but, they live frugally. They saved. They paid off their vehicles. They don't take on any debt. They're mortgage-free. I said, well, you must have inherited a boatload of money. I was being facetious. No, he just, since basically same thing, 1985, he just plugged in 10% a year into his 401k. Now, this guy that Chris was talking about are going to have some tax consequences to deal with. Whoop-de-doo, man. So this guy just plugging, never doing anything. Never, in fact, well, I don't want to say much more. But this guy actually pays the money manager too. So the money manager is taking a percentage off as well. Not Barfield's guy, but my guy. And that's fine. You know what I'm saying? But he's just plugging money every year. It's hell or high water, plugging. Never looked at a statement. That's what you do. You just keep plugging, never look at your statement. Plug. Never look at your statement. Next thing you know, you wake up 25, 30 years from now, you got 7 figures in there. Potentially, I don't know. Don't make it more, it doesn't have to be any more complex than this. Plug. S&P 500, plug. Done. Wake up, whoa, I got $1.5 million after 30 years. Just plug. It's so simple. Stop trying to chase, they got that. Like now the TSP is rolling out these idiotic mutual funds and stuff. It's just stupid. Don't just follow along the S&P 500. And that's it. Plug. Get your statement, put it in the drawer, look out the window. Ukraine, Taiwan, Syria, the Ottoman Empire is coming back. I'm looking out the window is what I'm doing. What else we got? Genghis Khan, ISIS. Just look out the window. Pay off your debt. All right. Love your thoughts. Don't forget to subscribe on my email newsletter down below, the Doobie Duke, and Locals channel as well. We'll see you guys.